honor our indigenous roots and international history. Lacrosse is more than a game. We play with speed, heart, and precision. Young, modern, electric, inclusive, growing across the globe. Lacrosse is everyone's sport, governed globally by World Lacrosse.
Good Stick Company is here to manufacture and produce lacrosse sticks locally here in the Czech Republic. Our mission is to make lacrosse more accessible so more kids can have access to affordable, high quality equipment so more people can play this game and we can share this sport around the world. Our philosophy on pricing is quite simple. By removing all these different logistics and these middlemen in the manufacturing process of lacrosse sticks, we can pass those savings on to you. We can make these quality lacrosse sticks affordable for more people.
You can tell it's original posture.
And once again, good afternoon and welcome to the 2025 Men's European Lacrosse Championship in Wrocław, Poland on Lax TV and World Lacrosse TV. Final day of pool play as we bring you Germany looking to move to 4-0 in their group, taking on Spain, and Spain playing their finale as well, Spain at 0-3. Hi everybody and welcome, Ralph Bjorchik alongside Lee Borko to bring you this one. The Germans have looked phenomenal, Lee, in this one, and this is their final tune-up. They want to go 4-0, but they want to look very good going into the knockout round. They are a clear challenger to England. If England is considered a favorite, there are some around this tournament that feel Germany is their greatest challenger.
Most definitely. They've the 3 games I've watched them, they all play very well together. They move the ball. They don't make many mistakes. Their goalie is good size in the cage and doesn't give a lot of room in there, but they're a solid team, and they could definitely win the whole thing.
Spain, I should say, actually 1-2, beg your pardon, in the tournament. They defeated Ukraine in this 5-team Group B. Anton Nutzmann pursuing the first face-off for Germany in the white, and Spain in the familiar maroon on black, and a face-off win controlled by David Beckman. Impressive long pole midi for the Germans, and we have an initial slash coming out. Here's Beckman to cage, and Beckman will touch it in. Well, he saw the opening, and Spain never got balanced up defensively with the flag out, and Germany has a 1-0 lead.
It looked like once that flag went up, he kind of gave up on the defense and let the long pole just come in there. Nobody slid over to get him and knocked it in.
Check on the flag. It appeared like it could have been a slash, and indeed, it is a 1-minute slash on Spain. So for Jose Luis Mendoza, head coach of Spain, this is not the way they wanted to start this one. And they're looking to make great improvements going into the knockout round and see if they can play their very best at the end of this tournament. On the face-off, another clean win for the Germans. And on the handle, they will start the attack. The attack, very balanced, Soren Spiegel. Attackman with Mark Brandenberger and Lasse Valkwartsen. Then the midfield, the first midfield for head coach Adam Russell, Winton Bastian with Houston Vismer and Moritz Spiegel. Man-to-man look for Spain. And in front of goalie Paul Walter Diaz. 2 games ago had a very good game against Poland. Here's a shot, and he makes the stick save on the wing shot by Bastian. And the ground ball belonging here to Spain and Fernando Galinas. Galinas then trying to save the ball. He did not have an outlet and turns it over. Soren Spiegel. And Spiegel will now back it out defensively. Fernando Galinas joined by Jackson Suarez and Daryl Hunter are the 3 close D-men. The long pole midi is Gustavo Lopez. In front of Paul Walter Diaz. Yesterday, Spain got off to a great start. They led Czechia 3-2 after 1 quarter. And they were thrilled with arguably their best performance to date. As here's Moritz Spiegel with the rollback, but then their energy dropped and just could not win the middle of the field enough. And an outside shot rip. Save is made outside by Walter Diaz. Houston Vismer with the look. Now in trouble is Walter Diaz. Paul Walter Diaz with a long run turns it over. He is out of cage. Germany on the recovery. Mark Brandenberger. Walter Diaz hustling, and Germany will put on the brakes and look for something better.
They didn't take advantage of the goalie being out, but they only had a couple of attack guys there, so they've always been patient, what I've seen, so they just settled and figured that we'll bring it out, settle the ball, and run our offense.
The Germans yesterday, an impressive victory, 11-9 over Czechia. A lot of storylines in that one. Many of the German players play in the NBLL, the National Box Lacrosse League, that is hosted in Czechia. So they knew personnel quite well. Here's Kai Suntowski, second midfield on now for the Germans, with Luis Stetzka, number 6 in white, and 14 Leon Bohm. Brandenberger. And all over him is Daryl Hunter who's out of Philadelphia, who started Swarthmore, and a flag is out and a second flag coming out against Hunter. Save is made on Spiegel. And now another flag, the official throwing his hat. So that's in the indication of 1 minute slash, unsportsmanlike for the second Lee, and then an additional unsportsmanlike thrown 3 minutes of penalties against one of the leaders of the Spain team, Daryl Hunter, who was very upset about the initial love tap slash here in the corner.
Definitely, and he said a little bit to the ref, and they're not, that's a no-no. They're going to throw that flag immediately. He must have said it something again. The goalie for Spain has been fabulous so far. He's made some great saves.
Paul Walter Diaz, as we said, very good against Poland too. So a man-up, a very long man-up begins of 3 minutes for the Germans, and a chance to really cement this game and perhaps have a chance to rest some legs, as there's a rip from Houston Vismer.
Vismer's been just pounding the goals. That hard lefty shot against Poland, and I watched him against Chechnya. He's deadly from that side.
Here's room and time for the rip there from Moritz Spiegel. He's the older of the two Spiegel brothers that both start in the top six, one on attack in Soren, the other Moritz at midfield. There's Soren, drops it off. Moritz gave it up, then the pass is batted down and knocked down. Active stick by Fernando Galinas, who just graduated high school from Falmouth, Maine, as he is certainly playing up to the level of competition, playing against grown men. He'll play at Division III, University of South Boston. And Spain down a man, has backup. So as Hunter waits out the foul, and they drop it off ahead for Griffin Guerin. He's from Palm Beach, Florida, and a good timeout that'll be taken here by... No, offsides is called. Hold on, offsides is called, then timeout granted to Spain. Spain coach Jose Luis Mendoza was hoping to call to talk about how they might manage out the rest of this 3-minute penalty on Hunter.
Well,
Gets the timeout, but he loses possession.
That's unfortunate because they haven't been able to get on offense at all. And I know he wanted to call that timeout to settle everybody and figure out what we're going to do to kill the rest of this penalty.
Germany here at 3-0, the lone unbeaten in Group B. So they just need a win and to be undefeated as they're playing for seeding in the top 5. Winner of this championship, as well as the top 7, will qualify for the 2027 Men's World Lacrosse Championships, taking place in 2027 in Japan. And Germany would like to start group play off 3-0. They have the win over Czechia, just in case, as the tiebreaker. And that came yesterday, 11-9. And head coach Adam Russell, who's one concern coming in, his guys had played a ton of lacrosse, but they haven't played any competitive real games. They played in the Berlin Open last weekend and smothered 4 local other teams like Hong Kong U20 and their own U20 team by convincing scores. But getting through the experience of playing top competition and then also playing to time and score in a competitive game, Germany was able to manage the rest of yesterday's 11-9 win as Czechia's comeback fell short.
It was good they were playing, but when you're playing at that level, sometimes you're not really got the intensity or the talent level you're going to get here. And yeah, it's good, but it's not always as helpful.
So the offsides cost Spain the possession. They have the timeout to talk man down instead. Brandenburger, should be about 90 seconds left as Brandenburger fumbles it for a second. And swung by Vismer. Here to Moritz Spiegel. Brandenburger now starting off on the wing. He's primarily an ex-attackman. Volkwartsen across, beautifully done. Lasse Volkwartsen across. He noted the cutting midfielder Winton Bastian to make it 2-0, a man-up goal for Germany.
Germany goal by number 26, Winton Bastian.
And Volkwartsen just below GLE, able to go cross cage with the pass. As now we have a timeout taken, a smart timeout by Germany to preserve the time on the man up, which is probably around the minute here, Lee, somewhere in that vicinity, and to try to snowball this into multiple goals.
Well, that's smart because in international, it's a running clock, so there's no stop time unless you have timeout here, as far as the penalty goes.
So Germany will preserve that time. They'll still need to win a face-off, but they'll have the advantage 3-on-2. They'll take the first 2 face-offs. This is the final day of pool play here at the 2025 Men's European Lacrosse Championships. Ralph Bjornchik joined by Lee Borko on hand from Wrocław. And Spain hoping to get off to a much better start the way they did first quarter yesterday against Czechia. But they gave up a goal in the opening seconds off the opening face-off. And then committing a 3-minute penalty. So they will be fighting uphill, at least for the rest of this quarter. And can they hang in against the tremendous Germans who've been so good on the world lacrosse, the European lacrosse stage in particular. Last tournament here, full tournament 2016, they finished 5th. Same for 2012. 3rd in 08, 2nd in 04, 1st in 2001. But as the game has grown, the competition has become stiffer with more and more countries participating. There's more overall games you're playing. But Germany has set the bar extremely high. With now having a team that's played lacrosse arguably the longest together any German team has ever had. It'll be Anton Nutzman waiting to face off against a Pole. And our officials need to see the clock to get reset to pick a particular time. I'm not sure why it's running now. And on the face-off, Gustavo Lopez facing off, but the clean win handled off the wing, uncontested for Germany.
So far, Germany's dominated this face-off X, which one of the big reasons they stayed on offense. They getting the penalties on the other team. Spain so far has not had any offensive possession.
And Spain has yet to have the ball on offense. Swung to the wing here for Wismer. Bastian. Brandenburger with eyes to the front. Bastian sets his feet, hits the shots. So Mark Brandenburger thought about it and then continued to crow hop through. He gets a man-up goal, and it's 3-0.
You just lost it.
So Brandenburger with back-to-back man-up goals. Still time left on the Hunter foul. And another face-off win for the Germans. And we're midway through this first quarter, and Germany has yet to have to play a second of defense. Brandenburger, this is a man-to-man look by Spain. They set a screen for Bastian, and Bastian got a good look.
That's definitely their go-to guy over there on the left side.
Germany 2 days ago facing Poland in a 10-4 win. Here's Bastian. This time he hits cage. Bastian goes a little further out. 4-0 is the score. Second of this opening quarter for Bastian.
Was it in or?
Feed came from Wismer. 2 for Bastian to make it 4-0. And now we're all even, so the Hunter penalties, the 3 minutes of penalties, have come to an end, but it could be very costly. A 4-0 hole for Spain. Nutzmann wins the face-off from Gustavo Lopez. And Germany asserting their dominance. Certainly a heavy favorite to finish in the top 7, and as we said, some expect them to be perhaps the main challenger to England to capture this tournament. Soren Spiegel and Stetska and Jacob Buckerman. Second midfield again. Spiegel, that is pass too high for Brandenburger. As Volkwartsen pursues in the corner, all over him is Gustavo Lopez. And the call will be signaled over to Germany. Santowski, as they take away his left hand. Brandenburger got to his left, his offhand and misses. Mark Brandenburger is from Hamburg, also plays for the German Sixes team. He's their true quarterback, ex-attackman. Volkwartsen, he'll be the guy in the future at that spot. Lasse Volkwartsen. He hits the shot, he's got 1-1. 5-0 Germany without playing a second of defense.
The Spain defense has to be just exhausted right now. They spent the whole quarter on defense. The man down a few times. Hopefully they can get on offense and get some rest. Spain's been a very scrappy team, and they hustle, but you can't just spend that much time on defense.
And they're pursuing, they're almost at 11 minutes of playing defense, and add to that with Nutzmann. Bastian got the feed from the point, and Soren Spiegel. 5-0 Germany. It is also a hot afternoon. The first true, fully warm day in Wrocław. Brandenburger on the drop-off. We had nice weather yesterday afternoon, and a rip to the near corner pipe. Soren Spiegel's shooting has been something to behold this tournament. Spiegel really ate up Poland's zone with 5 goals. And look at that take.
He was basically left wide open. Lots of time and room. He settled in and just ripped it. That's probably a lot to do with Spain being very tired on defense.
Now Spain changes it up with Luis Cordurk-Ferrer facing off, and they came up with a face-off win off the wing from Gustavo Lopez, but the call goes against the Spaniards. So we're about to hit the 3-minute mark of no possessions for Spain. And Coach Adam Marshall's been able to roll out both of his midfield lines consistently. Stetska. Brandenburger. Nearly losing it, then recovers, and loose change picked up by the youngster Leon Bohm. 7-0.
Germany goal by number 14, Leon Bohm.
And Bohm, who can play pole with the U21 squad 3 years ago in Limerick, Ireland. But they have high hopes for him as an offensive midfielder. At 7-0, a stunning story being written. Luis Cordurk-Ferrer to face off with Lopez now in the wing. And make that actually 25. Fernando Martinez faced off there, and he wins it. And here is Spain on offense for the first time. 2 minutes to go, opening quarter. And then this ball fumbled by Griffin Guerin and picked up by Soren Spiegel. So after barely a few seconds, it would have been an over and back anyway. Volkwartsen. Final 70 seconds. Stetska with a running start. Volkwartsen locates the cutter up top for Bohm. Just well done, Lee. And Germany, every single pass seems to be in rhythm and not hurried at all.
They're patient. They move the ball very well. They're solid all over. Their offense is well-tuned, and at this point, Spain is tired, and they can't keep up with the ball movement, and it's unfortunately they didn't get possession on the last one.
Bohm with consecutive goals. Nutzman has won all but one face-off. Now the hold will be called. So consecutive wins for Fernando Martinez, and we'll see if that can continue for Spain into the second period. Spain with 20 seconds left in the period and hoping to get the ball to their attackmen who've been standing and waiting. Matt Napolitano, John Bota, and Antonio Marquez Lorente. They take the drive and they do score on their first shot. That's Griffin Guerin not wasting any time. A product of Boca Raton, Florida. 8-1.
That's really going to help Spain. Hopefully they can get some momentum back. One thing I noticed, Germany really likes to play their out on the men. They don't stack it in. They'll contest you right over the midfield, right at the midfield line. And he beat him with his speed, and it was a nice shot, goal.
Clock stops with 6 seconds showing in the first quarter. It's a running time except for the last 30 seconds of the first 3 quarters, last 2 of the fourth. After the Beckman pickup, it's 8-1 though. Germany asserting themselves immediately. A commanding 8-1 advantage as we head to the second quarter. From World Lacrosse TV and Lax TV, we'll be right back to Wrocław. underway in the second quarter. We apologize if you may have heard any audio issues, but we are clearly back on Lax TV and World Lacrosse TV. 8-1, Germany winning yet another face-off from Spain. Spain gave up an immediate goal to David Beckman, followed up next possession a 3-minute penalty against defenseman Daryl Hunter, led to 2 man-up goals, and even back 6-on-6, Spain was not able to stop the flood, Lee, and we are seeing why Germany is considered a major threat to win this tournament. Volkortsen, shot from an angle, it's off. And as the stop is made inside by Paul Walter Diaz, and Spain does have a goal, they've barely had possession as Carlos Garcia transitions here for Hunter. They got a goal in the final seconds of the first quarter from Griffin Guerin, who just dodged his way to the front, so they haven't even had a chance to actually run any offense until now. And here's John Bota. And Bota is a high school coach in New York, in Mahopac, about 45 minutes north of downtown Manhattan. They'll bring on Candido Cantalejo, also in the midfield. Here is Fernando Martinez. Swinging back for El Bargi Ramiro. Very good dodging midfielder Ishmael El Bargi Ramiro, 31 in red. And Spain with their first true possession in terms of working the ball around. And Matt Napolitano, another New Yorker. Napolitano, the throwback. They looked to zip the diagonal pass across, and it was knocked down. And an alert and active German stick leaves it for Mikhail Zinoviev, and Germany will come up with a clear. While Zinoviev, particularly, was very good against Poland. Volkortsen across, shoulder save made by Paul Walter Diaz on the running shot from Soren Spiegel.
That was a great save. Germany was right on the doorstep, as they're usually. They move the ball so well, and that was an awesome save by the goalie.
This year's German playbook, talking to the coaching staff, could be the most balanced and expansive playbook they've ever had. They can go 4 to 5 different offenses with a deep list of set plays. Volkortsen, numerous different initiators. There's never been a German offense to this extent and design. And heading into a tournament where they're not working on things in the tournament, everything is already installed. Bastion, and Bastion fires. Well, Germany's outside shooting has perhaps been the most consistent out of anybody in this tournament that I have seen, Lee. Quinton Bastion with his third already, it's 9-1.
I very much agree. The games I've seen, most of their shots are on goal or just missing. They're excellent shooters. They don't take bad shots either. They want time and room shots or multiple passes, something on the crease. I've rarely seen a bad shot from this team.
I'll add there very little forced shots, and I think that's an indication of how little they've not gotten the ball on backup, because there's always been a plan. Cordurke Ferrer facing off against Nutzman. And this is a face-off that's dug out of the scrum for Germany and Rintaro Fujita. And fading away, and that's maybe a little bit of the first force from Volkortsen, but on a hop, it's picked up and kept alive by the Germans again with Fujita, who will now head off. Ian Nutzman, D-middies, and face-off guys. Germany now to a rested second midfield. Some cloud cover now. The game prior to this one between Ukraine and Czechia probably had the hottest weather of any game that we have had here. Santowski trying to bull his way through. Volkortsen on the move. And his bouncer, Paul Walter Diaz, that time was able to stay square to the ball.
He's an excellent goalie. And he's made some great saves. Obviously, he's had a lot of shots on him, but he's kept that game a lot closer than it could have been.
In a competitive game against Poland, he particularly played well. That was an 8-4 final by Poland, but it took the Poles a while just to put Spain away in that game, due in part to the abilities of Paul Walter Diaz. Spain the clear. Guerin, who played at the notable high school St. Andrews in Boca Raton, Florida. We'll have a chance to talk about him. The Politano, one of the two handfuls of high schoolers that are performing in this tournament. There are numerous 16-year-olds on the sides. The Politano is going into his senior year at Iona Prep in Westchester County, just north of New York City. Swung back for Boda. Marquez Lorente. So the score being what it is, Spain just a chance to settle in on offense, figure out a concept. Marquez Lorente. And then they tried to feed the ball back to X as the ball was high, and then a player stepping into the crease for Spain. It'll belong to the Germans.
Spain was trying to be very patient. They were on both times, but then they're trying to force the ball inside, and have been unsuccessful there.
Moritz Spiegel, as he turns the corner and has it at the Berlin Open. They played 4 games. They've trained in Hamburg. And a German side that was able to bus over down to Wrocław. Bastian. Vismer had the roll man in Brandenburger briefly. March Spiegel forced right. And Spain, I think, has improved defensively here in the second quarter. Vismer then taking the shot after Germany got anything they wanted, Lee, I thought, in that first quarter. And here they end up turning it over. So Spain here can take some positives from this. They've given up just 1 goal here in the period. Now they look to transition, and Borja Herrero Marzo. And the short stick D-mid will cross, but then his pass is blocked, and Germany a chance to run for the first time. But Spiegel will put on the brakes. So Germany back on offense. It would appear likely the Germans are going to be a very high seed. It's going to be interesting to see how the committee and how the seedings will come up, because I think we're going to have 5 group winners that are unbeatens. And the seeding could be critical later in terms of matchups. Bastian. Brandenburger swims through. Herrera the D-mid. Feet in front, Vismer, what a pass. Or rather, Soren Spiegel. A pass to the high crease area for Winton Bastian. And his left hand, watch 26 in white, just move without the ball. And settles into no man's land in the middle of the defense, 10-1. 4 goals for Winton Bastian. And Soren Spiegel adds an assist, his second.
You were talking about the seeding before, and there's 5 groups, but only 4 out of those 5 will get the bye into the quarterfinals.
Yep. So I think the jockeying of playing the extra game, Lee, is going to matter. However, that'll be determined as Daryl Hunter faced off there, but it's still punched along to the wing for Germany, as there is a flag down now against Jackson Suarez of Spain. So another man up for the Germans. They enjoyed a lot of time man up in our first quarter. And the 5th seed to play an extra game. So that has a cost in terms of wear and tear.
And anything can happen. I mean,
Room in time, Bastion with Volkwartsen ducking for cover. Bastion sticking the shots. And his shooting is now rivaling the performance of Soren Spiegel against Poland. He's got all 3 that Germany has scored in the second.
He's almost always on goal with a shot. I've rarely seen him miss the goal. He forces the goalie to make a good save.
Shooting practice for Winton Bastion as he is hitting near pipe corners. And he got that in a very tight area, close to goal. It's a man-up goal, the 3rd for Germany of the half. And they win another face-off with 3.5 to play. Feet in front, and there's a second goal for Beckman, the Pole. No one picked up Beckman after the face-off win. And heads up from the Germans. He just trots into the front. Perhaps Spain, not sure if they switched to zone or not, but Volkwartsen locating a teammate in Beckman, begging for the ball to be passed.
Spain looked a little confused on that. The defense is looking at each other. Whose responsibility was this? And Germany took advantage of that.
Germany playing a near perfect half. 2:45 left. Procedure will be called against Nutzman. So face-off win for Luis Cordurque Ferrer. Swung back by Carlos Garcia San Martin. And over the top, Spain will step in with the clear. And finally have possession. Spain hoping they can hit the reset button for the 3rd quarter. These are short half times, just 10 minutes. El Bargi Ramiro, as I think he tried to make a pass in, that's knocked down by the German defense. And a good work by tall midfielder Jacob Bockerman. Zinoviev has had a comfortable first half.
Spain has tried to force it in 3 times, and it's just not there. Every time they've had it, Germany's had a stick on it and a turnover. So Spain has to look at something different.
Marius Butz will connect with Nutzman for the clear. 1:20 left. First half, Germany led 8-1 after 1 quarter. Spain getting the last goal of the opening quarter in the final 20 seconds. Otherwise, it would have been a perfect period for the Germans. Germany will sub to the midfield. A stall warning is on, so once Germany gets into the box, as Leon Bohm eventually gets in, so now you've got to keep it in this smaller box. At the top, it's more of a wide rectangle. And now an interference is called against Germany, so they tried to set a pick and lose it. And Jackson Suarez, who just joined the team 2 days ago, arriving a little later than anticipated from his home state of Texas, came into the game's 2nd quarter against Poland, right in and made an impact. Hunter, and Hunter being forced out by Mark Brandenberger, and a flag is out. This will be against Germany. 30-second push with possession with 14 seconds left, so Spain can avoid a face-off to open up the 3rd.
I was going to say, let's see if Spain wants to hold the ball, which is a smart thing to do. If they have the ball, possession of the ball, they will retain it starting the 2nd half. Particularly
with the way Anton Nutzman has been able to face off So the throw to the wing, this one knocked away dangerously. Almost a turnover, the active stick of Jake Steinfeld's. Now 5 seconds to go. Napolitano will dodge against Steinfeld's and run out the clock. Maybe not perfect, but extremely good from the Germans. 12-2 as they are getting sharp ahead of the knockout round starting tomorrow and in position to finish perfect and capture the group. 12-1's our score at the half. Lee and I will be back in 10 minutes to bring you the third quarter from World Lacrosse TV and Lax TV.
Commercial break! We've been really busy over the past 2 years developing our very own women's lacrosse stick.
We are really proud of it. So stop by the shop. We would love to tell you more about it.
Good Stick Co. Come get a stick. Good Stick Company is here to manufacture and produce lacrosse sticks locally here in the Czech Republic. Our mission is to make lacrosse more accessible so more kids can have access to affordable, high-quality equipment so more people can play this game and we can share this sport around the world. Our philosophy on pricing is quite simple. By removing all these different logistics and these middlemen in the manufacturing process of lacrosse sticks, we can pass those savings on to you. We can make these quality lacrosse sticks affordable for more people.
We honor our indigenous roots and international history. Lacrosse is more than a game. We play with speed, heart, and precision. Young, modern, electric, inclusive, growing across the globe. Lacrosse is everyone's sport, governed globally by World Lacrosse.
start the third quarter with 14 seconds left on a man up for Spain, and they get an instant look on the fadeaway shot. That comes from Ismael El Bargi Ramiro. And final seconds will come off. It was a 30-second foul for a push with possession on Mark Brandenberger of Germany. So we're back to all even 6-on-6. 12-1, the halftime score. Germany poured it on to open the game 8-0. Here's a shot from Matt Napolitano. Stop made by Zinoviev. And the ground ball scooped up here by Fernando Galinas of Spain. And the defenseman will carry over following the overpass. And Spain back to work. And certainly if you're Jose Luis Mendoza of Spain, who played lacrosse and soccer at Colby College. He was a huge Gary Gait fan at Syracuse. Tells his players to watch the old Gait highlights. His dad was from Spain and gives him great pride that he is coaching España consistently in this tournament, being the head coach of the national team. But out of the timeout, obviously, or out of the half, obviously a chance, Lee, for Spain to talk things over after 10 minutes and figure out how they can improve here into the group stage in the remaining half hour of action.
Definitely, they so far when they've had the ball, Germany likes to press out, and they've had some issues with that. And they've been patient, but again, they seem to always force that shot, and they really need to work on that. I've seen them; they're a good, scrappy team. They hustle all over the field, and definitely, let's see what they can do in this second half. Instead of being on, they spent a lot of time on defense in that first half.
Here's a trail check. Timo Sander, defensive midi, was about to get maybe his first shot of the tournament, but Sander was denied that chance. And Spain back with it here with Jackson Suarez. Very good stick, physical player who played 1 year on the roster at Marquette in the Big East. Sent along to Darrell Hunter, 2.5 gone. Paul Walter Diaz, another strong game as he sends it over and makes the connection with his teammate. That's Javier Garcia Martinez. Has 40 in maroon, gets it over and into the box. But then the fumbled pass and the ball on the ground, and not missing that ground ball is Mort Spiegel. And finally transition here for Winton Bastian, who's got 5 goals on tremendous shooting. Bastian and Germany with their first possession and settled attack of the third quarter. And if you're Coach Adam Marshall of Germany, you've got a big lead here, Lee. You're looking ahead. You know you have championship aspirations. Curious to see how he's going to manage this with his roster. It's a hot day. At the same time, you don't want to play your guys maybe too little.
No, you want to make sure they don't get sloppy in the game. They've got a solid lead. I've seen that. Suddenly they're trying to make all these fantastic passes. Just stay in your offense. Keep moving. Get your second midfielders in, maybe some extra attack guys later to give them some rest. But stay in the system in this game to be prepared going forward, because games are going to be much harder.
New goalie in for Germany on the other end, as Benedikt Mildenberger has come in to play the second half in place of Mikhail Zinoviev. That's who Spain will be looking to shoot on, as Hunter will deal it back to the Spain starter and Paul Walter Diaz, who fires through the middle. Nice one-hand grab by Fernando Martinez, but off of his stick. Transition chance. Beckman. Drop off in tight and a goal. That's Dominic Nish. Nish, who's playing with a short stick. He profiles more as a defender, and Germany going a little deeper to their roster. Nish is able to score to make it 13-1, so that's an example of mixing up your guys a little bit. Nish, one of the backup poles, gets a chance to play a little offense.
Well, Germany's going to want to get some other guys in that maybe not played as much, get them some good experience in this game. They might be needed going forward.
Nutzman. Clean shovel pass off the face dodge Soren Spiegel, and a flag is coming out against Spain. Beckman looking for a third, denied by Paul Walter Diaz. And we're going to look at the flag, and it's going to be a 30-second push with possession against Spain. Now the man up has gotten a workout for Germany, as Luis Cordurque Ferrer will have a seat on the far sideline for Spain. They hit on 2 man-ups in the second quarter and 1 more in the third from Bastion. Here is a rip, and that's blocked off the body. Think of Gustavo Lopez of Spain challenging the shot, taken by Soren Spiegel. As they swing behind for more Spiegel. Outside shot, Volkwartsen. Maybe not the look that Germany wanted there at the tail end of the 30, but we are all even. So Spain gets the kill. Now gearing his hands up for the rip is Houston Vismer. And there is no backup in a rare situation where Germany turns the ball over like that. So Hunter will have the approach. And we played nearly midway through the third quarter. Hunter shovels along. And able to step through is Matt Napolitano.
Using that speed, he's very quick. Good idea on the clear. Get it to him and let him go.
And what a moment this is for these young players, the various high schoolers, Lee, that are featuring for this roster on these rosters. Germany doesn't have anybody like that, but Spain, obviously, with Napolitano, there are numerous. There's one thing, you can go play travel lacrosse over the summer against your own age group back in the U.S., but then this, I would imagine, is invaluable, in my opinion.
I'm sure they were intimidated a lot at first.
On the face dodge to the front, Marquez Lorente, and could not get the clean shot off. Stick was checked. And Germany will come up with the clearance, as well as the cultural experience and the character influence that some of these older players will have that you simply cannot get on the travel lacrosse circuit, playing 8 a.m. games on distant fields.
Well, it was wonderful. My son and I were with Poland in San Diego and back here 3 years ago. It's trying to explain that to some of the people back home. I really don't think they understand how wonderful experience it is. Going out with some of the other guys from other teams and learning their culture, it's awesome.
Here's Luis Stetska, Soren Spiegel. Spiegel fighting his way through Galinas, and Galinas does well defensively. Back inside the crease for Volkwartsen, and Volkwartsen will take a slash across the head from Jackson Suarez. Jackson Suarez definitely playing catch-up since arriving here 2 days ago. Got out of a cab, went immediately to his team's bench, changed, and went in the game. No warm-up league, so...
Sounds like men's leagues games.
Yeah, exactly. So, surprised they didn't have him fill out a waiver walking in, but that's what occurred as Jackson Suarez hustled to get here from his native Texas. Another man up for Germany. 5:40 left in the third, and Germany has been held to 1 goal, obviously in a lopsided game. As they'll move to 4-0, completing group play very convincingly. There's a rip from Volkwartsen as they run the wheel. Lone close game, 11-9 against Czechia, where they had that game on the wraps the whole time, but they committed too many penalties late. It sprung Czechia as Czechia was able to get their man up going, and of course the Czechs, with all their skill and flair on offense, 6-on-5 is a dream for them. And they quickly cashed in to make it a close game late, 11-9. Bastion Soren Spiegel, still time on the slash. Inside Paul Walter Diaz, the save, and he kept it off the line. The fourth official was right there. Moritz Spiegel was the shooter. 4 officials in these games, and there was a referee looking right where that ball bounced, and it stayed out.
That was a tremendous save. It came out, great save, then it came just out of his stick, and he had the wherewithal to look back and grab that before it snuck into the goal.
Now this pass had a failed clear for Spain again. As they turn it over, the other way, Soren Spiegel will back it out and run some more settled offense. As we'll hit 4 minutes left on this continuous clock. And Germany trying to polish up every detail before they play in the knockout round. With the championship being set for Saturday night here in Wrocław, Poland. Volkwartsen all over him, Fernando Galinas again. And Galinas gets the ball on the ground. And Galinas just 18 years old, going up against experienced players. Volkwartsen he is currently at Division II Southern New Hampshire in the U.S., redshirted there last year. He's out of the high school class of 22, so he's a little bit older, but he's going to start his career in the U.S. as a field player coming up next spring. Anxious to follow him as Brandenburger's pass sails away from Leon Bohm, and they had the stall warning on, so that's out of the box. And Spain quickly on the pickup.
After the first period, Spain has definitely picked up their defense, more energetic and everything, and staying closer in the game.
And certainly from
forcing some turnovers.
Certainly from an organized perspective, with Luis Naranjo slips down and handles, so he'll get some attack time here. And Bota to quarterback. Also Paul Herrero Sanchez getting some attack run off the bench. Napolitano, Griffin Guerin. Guerin out of the high school class of 2020 at St. Andrews. Shuffle pass back for Napolitano, and the rip and the stop is made by the new goalie in there in Benedikt Mildenberger. Germany looks for transition. The overpass scooped up. They get a shot and a goal. They get a pole goal. I think that's Lucas Tophoven with the goal. Have him as 27. I think he's 21. 14-1. Yeah, Tophoven's the lone person that I have not called. So it is likely him. 14-1, Germany. 3 goals from Poles in this game for the Germans. 2 from David Beckman, including the first of the game that really set a tempo. And Germany was not wasting any time to put this game to bed. Tough face-off win for Marquez Lorente off the wing. I'll make that 27. Carlos Garcia, but then with the ball on the ground. And we'll have a flag out. A cross-check for a minute against Carlos Garcia will put him in the box. So Germany will have a man up to close out the third quarter. And the clock is going to stop here at 30 seconds. Germany subs on personnel. Winton Bastion has not scored in this quarter. That's the surprise. We'll see if he gets a look from the outside. Instead, they get a look on a burner from the outside from Leon Bohm. That's his third of this game. 15-1. Fourth man-up goal for Germany. And Bohm, Lee, once again, another sign of today's German shooters. They have been able to crow hop comfortably into 10-yard looks.
Most definitely. The goalie is it's going to be hard to stop those shots when they can just time and room. They can extend those hands and just rip that ball.
And no worry about the closeout defender.
No, not at all. I'm sure Spain's defense is exhausted by now. They spent a lot of time on defense.
Probably in the vicinity of 95% of the first quarter was spent on defense for Spain, as Anton Nutzmann looks like he's got still plenty of energy to face off. Germany gets 3 more, including 1 on man up. Leon Bohm adding his third, 15-1 Germany, en route to finishing unbeaten in group play on Lax TV and World Lacrosse TV. He's wearing gray on gray today. I know who he is. Start of the fourth quarter. About halfway through, another man up for Germany. Leon Bohm trying to add to his totals with 4. And Bohm off the second midfield has tallied 3. Germany again, Bohm at the top as they have backup on the look. And Germany just a well-oiled machine. On the cut, there is Bohm. So they just cycle through. Brandenburger then locates the cutter. It just happens to be Bohm today, but it could be anybody's day. Bohm with another man-up tally, so that is 5. And Brandenburger with the assist. So that could be a number. I know Poland yesterday against Ukraine, Lee, had 10 man-ups and estimated they might have had like 6 man-up goals. A high number, but Germany with 5, and this could be approaching the tournament high for this tournament in terms of man-up finishes.
If you have a solid man-up, which Germany obviously does, that puts a lot of pressure on the team, you know, to not get those penalties. It can change the entire game if you have a solid man-up and force those penalties.
And force you into mistakes. Germany against Poland, I thought Germany got, it was pretty even face-offs against Poland. But Germany made way less mistakes than the Poles. So they benefited with the extra possessions that way. As Suarez will look around. New goalie in is Guillermo Repetto del Peso, the backup goalie for Spain, to play the fourth quarter. As they swing it far side, this one skips. And it's grabbed by Garrett. So Griffin Guerin will take behind with the fourth quarter underway. Griffin now takes it in front, and he dunks in the goal. Well, he beat Beckman, and Beckman was expecting help. 2 goals for Griffin Guerin to make it 16-2. So Guerin was all set to attend Middlebury up in Vermont, Lee, but he chose to study abroad and be a student from his native Boca Raton in Spain. But his coach at St. Andrews, that has churned out numerous players onto Division I ranks and beyond, D2, D3, was Tony Seaman, longtime Towson coach, after he finished his Division I coaching career. So all those St. Andrews players typically have gone into their colleges very prepared to excel. Face-off win, Javier Rodriguez-Bell in his stick, and he shows nice composure going back to Suarez, who doesn't come up with it, and Spain turns it over after the face-off win.
Coming out of high school to go to any high level, D1, D2, or D3 in lacrosse, it's a lot more difficult than people think. There's men, seniors, there's men out there, and you're coming right out of high school. And some programs, like the one you're talking about, definitely prepare their kids. They're ready to go. They're not going to be intimidated, because I know those seniors are gonna, let's see what you got.
Yeah, what was your son Tyler's freshman year experience?
Well, he took a couple of good shots from some of the seniors, but if you take it and you really embrace it, then you'll get the respect from the upperclassmen.
On the skip pass, Bohm chases, and it'll stay here with Germany. Ralph Minarczyk alongside Lee Borko, his son Tyler Borko, playing for the Polish national team here in Wrocław, Poland. Tyler, native of Atlanta, drop off and a rip with a flag out. Rip comes from Soren Spiegel, hold on. Kai Santowski had the drop off. I'm not sure if this goal for Germany is it going to count.
He definitely took a shot on that one.
The goal is going to count for Spiegel to make it 17-2. It's going to be a 2-minute non-releasable hit to the head. Santowski gets the assist, and now another extended man up for Germany. There will be a face-off 3-on-2. As if the Germans needed any more practice on the man up, they'll have it here. Your son played at Division III Colorado College, where he had a lot of success. He was first team all-league as a senior, had a good junior year. I'm sure it took him some time to get acclimated to be that successful.
When he first started with the fall ball, you could do things in high school, dodge through multiple people, and score and be successful. If you do that in college, you're going to get nailed by the long pole, and they'll tell you don't belong in here. And that was a big transition. You have to learn that. And I remember Coach telling me, he says he's going to get killed if he keeps doing that. But he'll learn pretty quickly that that's not going to work on the next level.
Timeout taken by Germany, so Coach Adam Marshall and his staff will go through some particular concepts I think they want to work on this latest man up. So Germany having the deepest playbook they've ever had, they are getting the full opportunity in this occasion to use it and try to show it. And Lee, this is also a case where you don't want to show too much to the other contending teams. That's a fine line. You want to work on things in game speed. But then again, there might be a wrinkle or two you'd love to be able to save for Germany in a potential semifinal and final.
Most definitely. We know that the other coaches are, they have access to all the video, and not so much before it came. A lot of different personnel on these teams than there was 2 years ago. But now, of course, they're scouting these and looking at what you're doing. And you don't always want to show your hand if you got something special in that playbook.
And the opposing coaches are all free to walk around and come to these games. The way the games are scheduled, the teams in your group also play right around the same time. Not the exact same time, but within a half hour, 45 minutes of it. So the games are slightly staggered. So if your team in your group, if your next opponent is still playing, your game just finished, you might be able to catch a quarter or so, as well as having access to all the video that's available. But there's nothing like seeing your opponent in person.
No, not at all. Like today, Poland's off today. So I don't think they know who they're going to play next, but I'm sure they're watching a lot of these games.
Off the nice fake. Oh, what a nice finish. Luis Stetska holding the stick high with great composure. And after the hard closeout, he keeps it himself beautifully and shows remarkable stick control. And Stetska also up from the U21 team that played in Limerick and getting some time on the second midfield. And very nicely done. He's from a small town called Marburg, north of Frankfurt in Germany. He's a self-taught lacrosse player that's fallen in love with box-lax, and he travels to Prague in the Czech Republic all the time to play there, even lived there for a year, and did online classes while he was studying physics, of all things, Lee. 18-2 off the Stetska goal.
Learning a lot about the box league. I mean, a lot of these players in Europe travel a long ways to play in that.
6-man-up goals for the Germans. And this is still part of the 2-minute non-releasable. Bohm drops it into the high slot area. And I think they call a warding off against Stetska. Well, Stetska probably he probably had the initial shot but passed it up.
He definitely passed that up. I think they were looking for certain look, and I'm sure the German coach is saying that let's work on some things right now that we're not. I don't see any weakness, but maybe the coach did. So let's make sure we're looking for this particular look and not take just any shot.
Napolitano will come up with a clear. 8 minutes to go, and then the German defense, when they've had to play defense, has been very good. Most goals, of course, allowed the 9 yesterday to Czechia, giving up a total of 18, counting this game with 8 minutes remaining over the course of the 4 pool play games. In trouble is Benedikt Mildenberger before he retreats back to goal. And Boda has it for Spain. Napolitano, and here comes a mean slide coming from Fritz Kleinhempel. Napolitano is able to break through it and gets off a very good shot. So Matt Napolitano never panicked. Spain has backup. And a sweep from Elbargi Ramiro. Pass for Napolitano, in and out of his stick. And possessed by the Germans. However, they'll give the ball back to Spain.
I'm sure the Spain coach right now wants to, we have a lot of games left. It's not we're playing till all next week. Let's work on things going forward. Let's make sure we go through our progressions and not get too quick on anything. We want to move forward. Let's get a nice set here and try to score.
Elbargi Ramiro, and so much of this, Lee, I think is just staying in the moment and trying to build off of every segment of lacrosse you get, no matter what the score is. You don't have much practice time, so even in a lopsided game, that becomes your additional practice time because you want to keep your guys off of their feet. That pass intended to go back to X by Naranjo Martinez out of the reach of John Bota. 6 minutes to go, and Boots throws a strike here. And what a confident pass that was for Winton Bastion. Bastion, down it comes. Save made on Leon Bohm, pursuing his 5th. Bastion's got 5 to lead the Germans. Then Germany will await their seed as the tournament bracket will be announced late tonight. Bockerman got the screen set by Fujita, shoots on the move, and he beats the goalie Guillermo Repeto del Peso. So Jacob Bockerman able to add into the mix. That's his first shot of the game. And he runs second midfield. So the scoring balance superior today for Germany, 19-2.
Germany goal by number 18, Jacob Bockerman.
Sure. German coach was going to get his second line middies some more time here.
That's 9 different goal scorers, Lee, for Germany today out of their 19.
That always bodes well going forward. You don't know who to really concentrate on defensively.
On a face-off win for Borja Herrero Marzo, and he is smothered. And away from traffic, still with a lot of energy, is David Beckman. Beckman already with 2. The drop-off. Bohm one-hands it. 5 for Leon Bohm. That could be the most impressive. One of the top goals of this one gets Germany to 20. Oh, this is not easy to do.
I remember first watching lacrosse, going, how do they do this? How do they throw that ball so quickly? And I was amazed.
Well, the passing and catching that these players can execute, many not born in the United States, to be able to do that and learn the game, many on their own, as we told the story of Louis Stetska. But many hours of wall ball is the ultimate medicine, or the first medicine, as James Alejandro Campos Bell, the clear for Spain, nearing 3 minutes left. 20-2 Germany. They put up 23 in game 1 against a new nation, a developing country in Ukraine. That was a 23-3 final. They might flirt with that number today. Flag is out. This will be against Germany. So I think this will be just the second man up for Spain. That's where Germany got just into a little bit of trouble yesterday against good competition of Czechia. And turning and firing there, Fernando Martinez.
That was a nice look inside. He just went a little wide on that shot.
Spain with the latest man up. And for Jose Luis Mendoza, he's been urging his guys a fundamental offensive set, to be creative and to play free. Well, the weight of the scoreboard early particularly can be so difficult to do. Turning, nice shot. Fernando Martinez, very quick and scrappy midfielder, makes it 20-3. So that's a man-up goal for Spain.
That was very nice. At the end of this game, you know, take that into the next game. It's very, they ran that very well.
The lob pass over the top. The skip to Fernando Martinez. and then to turn and take it with his offhand. Well done for Spain.
You were talking early, like when I saw youth lacrosse, the most frustrating thing is the stick work to start with, but persevere, it'll come pretty quickly. And then, yeah, then you really enjoy the sport. I know the younger guys can get frustrated at first.
And what you're watching here is thousands of hours of devotion to be able to do just the simple basics. And then the high-level stuff, it takes a lifetime for these players from North America and in Germany. And in Germany, as we talked about on the previous broadcast, they have more players that have now picked up the sport as teenagers than ever before. So they're getting to the senior national team at such a higher platform. And that's part of what has given Adam Marshall and the German coaching staff the luxury of putting together and devising the most complex and deepest playbook they've ever had.
You think of in the U.S., in the hotbeds, most of those kids start when they're 6 years old.
And many of them are multi-generational players. Boom shot. That's blocked down. Never got through the goalie Guillermo Repetto. And it's out of play. And Spain will have it perhaps for the final possession.
We're talking about how many siblings were on a lot of the teams here. One team has three siblings on the same team.
Yep, Slovakia has 3 cousins. They're all playing together, having the time of their lives. The Fardine twin short stick D middies for France. I'm sure they're having a heck of a time, and of course all the time spent after these games. As Boda's pass intended for his attackman Paul Herrero is out of play, so Germany will have it, and they'll be able to run out the clock. Germany, as expecting, looking the part of a team that could threaten whoever is a favorite or considered a favorite to capture this European Lacrosse Championship. Germany takes the group convincingly. They win all 4 games. They were tested by Czechia. They finished 4-0 to capture Group B, and they are sailing into the knockout round. 20-3 is our final score. Leon Bohm and Winton Bastion with 5 goals apiece to lead the Germans in a tremendous effort, nearly a perfect game in the first quarter. 20-3 is our final. That'll do it for Lee Borko. A pleasure. My name is Ralph Bednarczyk saying so long and goodbye from Wrocław, Poland. You've been watching the 2025 European Men's Lacrosse Championship on Lax TV and World Lacrosse TV.
I am here with Leon Bohm, number 14 from Germany, after a win over Spain. Leon, you had 5 goals tonight. Tell me, how's your shot working in the tournament so far?
Yeah, pretty good. I didn't play a lot yesterday against the Czech Republic. It was a quite tight game, so today coaches felt like I should shoot the ball, and that's what I did. Kind of worked for me today, so that's good.
And you guys have a lot of chemistry. How did you make that throughout the tournament? How has it been progressing?
Well, the thing for us is that we don't really meet here at the tournament. We've met like 15 years old or something, so that would be like 8 or 10 years ago. So I know the boys pretty well. Those are some of my best friends right there. And we played U19 national team, box national team, and that's just the boys.
And this is your first European tournament, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
So how is this compared to everything else you've done?
This is fun, actually. Like, I'm more of a box guy, more of a box lacrosse guy. So, but everybody always tells me box implements in the game a lot. So that's what I'm feeling right now. So it's a fun tournament. It's super nice organized, and yeah, great competition.
Awesome, thank you. That is Leon Bohm from Germany after a big win over Spain here at the European Men's Lacrosse Championships in Wrocław. Thank you. Good luck.